That's tight.
I didn't want to use it.
No, that's good. Over the rope.
Yeah.
Till they get sober. I think this is alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some small ones there.
Successful. That's what they say, do they?
Successful or independent they can be, whatever. But, well, if you're so successful and you're so independent, you buy me dinner.
No, we don't have enough wood. Oh well, it is raining, we don't have enough wood, it's miserable, it's cold. Mr. Morrison, all we have is each other. It's not a proposition, maybe though. Let's do this van review today, shall we? The van and the trailer. There is a bit of small space in the forest. You can test the truck. Bit of off-road course. Very small, nothing challenging. Little small technical. I like it.
On?
Definitely
Okay.
on.
Now, I was trying to make this video as soon as possible. This is the only time I found kind of free. It's not really free, but I found it. So we've tested the van off-road. You've seen the footage, or maybe you're gonna see it after. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this. But now I got all the questions you asked me on the YouTube, because that was a big surprise for me. It hits 250,000 views. It was like, where that comes from? Great surprise, all the stuff. A lot of people ask about the van, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna make a specific video. I'm gonna show you everything, how it's built, what I've done, etc, etc. Andrew's got a list. Andrew's the guy behind the camera. Turn the camera, show yourself, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andy.
He's Andy. He's gonna ask me the questions, because I will forget half of the stuff, and then we go through all the interesting, also boring stuff as well. If it's boring, skip forward, but watch the end. All right, what's the first question?
Okay, why do you use a Trafic?
Because it's beautiful. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right, I was thinking about, obviously we're in Europe. If I was living in America, that would be definitely a Ford Ecoline F350. Very popular. You guys are lucky over there, have these vans. We don't have them, so we have to deal with what we have, unless we want to import it, but there's a pain else. So Trafic, mainly because the external and internal sizes, as a small class van, is one of the biggest one inside. If you do a comparison with the Volkswagen T5, for example, the width of the van itself changes. This is much wider, and also it stays wide till the top of the roof. Volkswagens, they tend to go very narrow. On this one here, if I have the bed at this height, so pretty much where the window's supposed to be, I can lay down on the bed sideways, and I have that much on the top of my head. Okay, I'm a fucking shoulders. I know I'm 176, so I think 180 will be the width roughly between the windows. So that's decent size bed. My daughter, when she sleeps here, we don't have to open the bed. She sleeps comfortably sideways. In a Volkswagen, that wouldn't be possible. Now, another competitor will be a Ford Transit, which, yes, they look good. They have a nice front with the new lights and all that stuff, but they will rust as hell. These vans, for some reason, they don't rust. I mean, we've seen them in a very bad shape because builders use them. They go through hell. There's no rust on these vans. I personally hate rust, because I don't want to spend money and time building something custom, and then after a couple of years you have to spend in thousands and thousands repairing the rust on the chassis, on the body, and all the stuff. Transits, they rust very badly. Volkswagens, they rust less, but again, they're much smaller. So, plus another thing, building this base, or this vehicle on a base on a Trafic, it brings the wheels very close to the end of the car, so you have no what is it fucking called?
Overhang.
I'm trying to stay professional here, and I'm forgetting the words.
Overhang.
Not now, honey. Not now. Overhang on the back. And same on the front. If you see on the front, the approach angle is pretty much straight. I mean, this is the bumper. I mean, this is the line of the approach angle. It's great. I mean, you can almost climb the straight walls. I mean, obviously not, but that's what I'm saying. So I think the wheelbase is good. I think it's slightly longer than a Nissan Patrol. No overhangs on the front of the bag, so I think that's great.
I mean, why didn't you go with something like a Sprinter or something? Because you're saying about space inside.
Sprinters, they're overall actually bigger, they're higher, and as you've seen, I think in this woods we were on the limit already.
Yeah.
Sprinter, even if I had a couple of inches more on the height of the roof, yeah, I would kind of dent that roof. We already damaged my intercooler, the radiator cover, which is gonna cover that in a minute. So Sprinter would just simply not fit in this wood. So I wanted a small size van, a small family size vans, because I wanted to follow the friends and everyone we going off-road with 4x4s. Maybe not specifically off-road having fun, because for that this is still a 4x4 camper van. It's not a pay and play area vehicle. It's not a fun 4x4. This is a camper van. But I still wanted to go with friends who just get the trailer or sleep in the van or sleep in the rooftop tent. But most of the people, they drive Toyotas, Jeeps. Show you Jeep how beautiful it is. There you go. I mean, if I have something bigger, I will not be able to follow him. You know, with this, yeah, it is slightly bigger, but it can still squeeze, kind of. I think it's on the limit. Anything bigger, it will be slightly bit too much. The Trafic, this choice, it gives me a lot of troubles. It was a big headache because these cars, these vans, they never come up as rear-wheel drive. So you have no space for the longitudinal engine setup, the gearbox, the transfer case, and the prop shaft. It was not existing. A Transit, for example, it has already that space, so you can do the same job with probably 50% less effort. They already would drive, same as a Sprinter. So a choice of this van to have the final result much better on the vans, it unfortunately cost me a lot of work, a lot. So there was a big debate at the beginning, which direction we go. We go in the cheaper, the faster direction, or the proper pain-ass direction where we have a better result. And if I had to think about it, I would definitely go Sprinter or a Transit. But because sometimes I make stupid decisions, I say, you know what, fuck it, don't think about it, just do what you feel to do. And I bought this one here. And I think that was a good decision, but it costed me a lot of pennies and a lot of time.
Okay, what about the axles and the transfer case? What you using?
4x4 transmission, we use Nissan Patrol Y61 axles, which is the second generation of the axles of the Patrol. They're slightly wider. The front axle CV joints, they're slightly bigger, so they're stronger and has much more efficient brakes on the front. They're very robust, they're very strong. The guys in Australia know how strong they are because they abuse them massively. In Europe, guys use them in Ultra 4 class off-roading competitions on 37, 38, 40-inch tires, trepados, when the V8, so way much more power, bigger tires, and they hardly break anything. If they do, CV joints, which is replace it very quickly. One way or another, these are extremely strong. These are way oversized axles for this vehicle and here, but it gives you peace of mind. Plus, they have a standard locker on the back. It's not the strongest one, but if you know how to use it with mine, it's not strong as a mechanism to lock it. You never break. I never broke one, even in competition when I used to compete with these axles.
Could you have done it using a Land Cruiser, for instance, instead?
I could use a Land Cruiser. That's a good point. A Land Cruiser axles will probably suit this vehicle anyway because they're still strong enough, or even more. They have even probably more strength that you need. And they have lockers front and back if you choose the diesel one, not the petrol one, or the other way around. However, one of them have lockers front and back. But I always use Patrol axles, all the projects I had. I know them very good. I think they're slightly wider, they're stronger than the Land Cruiser axles. I just wanted to go oversized. I wanted to have a vehicle that I'm not going to look for the troubles, but if the trouble is going to find me, I'm not going to be worried to snap the shaft or break the diff or break the CV joint. I mean, we're running 35-inch tires. This vehicle fully loaded, everything, camping gear, the recovery gear, the winch and everything, weighs 2,400 kilograms, which is the standard weight of empty Patrol.
Yeah.
So this car, these axles, with all this weight fully packed, they have just no stress on them. So I think that was the right choice.
And you're saying about making it four-wheel drive. What about the transfer case?
The transfer case, we use a Jeep, the new generation NP231. This transfer case is not the strongest one. It does the job. When I had a bigger turbo, we were pushing over 400 brakes at the wheels, roughly, because we actually not going to measure it, but roughly was somewhere there. The transfer case did not explode it, so that was good. We're pushing less power now because I use different turbo. However, in the future, because with the mind of oversizing stuff, I will try to adapt transfer case from the mission control to my gearbox.
And what about making it, we were talking about making it four-wheel drive, so we're supposed to go back up to the gearbox next.
The gearbox is actually WYJ gearbox. It has been modified. I have some upgrades for that gearbox, but in overall they're very strong gearboxes. They hold a lot of torque, which we've proven, and all the Jeep transfer cases they bolt straight on. I shouldn't say it because that's supposed to be a secret, but there you go. We say no bullshit, stay true, so there you go.
And leading back from the gearbox, engine,
where
and
engine is the best part of it. When we at the beginning built the van, we had the BMW M57N engine, same engine you find in the X5 3-litre turbo diesel. Lovely engine, very quiet, very good on MPG. I used to do 35 miles per gallon. I have nothing bad to say about that engine. However, we had an alternator failure on that engine, so the common rail system drained the battery completely. We were not able to restart the engine, and the problem is that the immobilizer in those ECUs may get stuck, frozen, if the battery goes down. So a simple problem could cause a big issue. And you obviously in the overland vehicle, when if you go somewhere where you have no reception in your own, that could be a very big problem. And usually problems happen at the times when you really don't need that problem. So as soon as I went back to the garage, to my workshop, I think a day after, it was day after or week after, some very short repair of time, I took the engine out, and now we bought a Mercedes E300 class, E-Class 300, sorry. That is the OM606 engine. Why? Because you can make it work completely mechanical setup. So we bought a pump from the older version of that engine, which is completely mechanical, no ECUs, nothing, simple cable controls. I'll show you, come on. Everything that controls my engine is this. Once you turn it on, this is how you control your engine, and that's it. There's no ECUs, there's no electronics. The only sensors on the engine are for the gauges, so you keep everything in control, turbo gauge and all that stuff, but that's all controls the engine. No ECUs, no electronics, nothing. I'll show you under the bonnet so you know what I mean. And obviously for overlanding, this engine can run on any oil, chips oil. If you throw a chip inside, it will run as well. Plenty of power, less MPG obviously, but still good. This is how it looks like. Obviously it's a bit tight because remember it used to be 1.9 TDI engine transversal. Now we have longitudinal 6-cylinder engine, and fifth and a 6-cylinder is pretty much where my radio used to be. So you can guess there was a lot of work. A standard plano from this engine will not fit because my engine bay was built for the M57, so this engine has actually been adapted to this engine bay, so it required a lot of work. This is the turbo we got. This is a variable vane turbo from Isuzu's small pickup truck, from normal trucks, I think like 7.5 ton trucks or something like this. It's a variable vane, so it gives me a lot of power down the RPMs, because that's what we want in off-road and towing the trailer. Before that I had the GT35, got a GT35 turbo. With that one we were making over 400 brakes, I mean way over 400 brakes, but it was nuts because it was quite laggy. This turbo suits, obviously this use much better. So yeah, this is the engine. Now, what else do you want to know?
Well, seeing as you're 4x4 and you're out in the woods and what have you, you obviously put a lot of strain on the engine. What you got for cooling?
Cooling. Well, if you're talking cooling, we have First of all, to cool the air that goes through the turbo to the engine, we have the big intercooler, which will not be able probably to see it. Put the camera there, maybe you can see the fans on the large intercooler. But
just see a fan, I think.
You can see it.
Just a label of a fan or something, yeah.
But if you put the camera from the inside, you can see a very thin, very small radiator. Can you see it?
Nah. Maybe just
maybe you could recognize that. However, that radiator is an aircon radiator. So what the aircon? What are you talking about? You're asking for the cooling, not the aircon. I don't have an aircon in the car. That aircon radiator is probably that long, and that tool, that one works as a cooler for the gearbox. Cooling the gearbox is as important as cooling the engine in this kind of use. So we're using this huge aircon radiator to cool the gearbox, and it works spotless, absolutely spotless.
But you're only doing that because the off-roading, you only put.
Well, not only off-roading, because sometimes we go in, like where we went not long ago to Lake District, and you have very steep hills. So we were pulling the other trailer. We have another trailer which is about a ton, and this fully loaded, the trailer fully loaded. Or sometimes you put on the car like a Suzuki Jimny, because we just put it on the A-bar to go on a pay and prayer or something like this. You put in like 4 or 5 tons, so there's a lot of stress into the gearbox, and you have to be careful when you go in like very steep long hills to keep the temperature down. So that's the gearbox. The engine itself, obviously, because again I built this engine bay for the M57, which is slightly shorter than this engine, I find myself struggling with the space for the radiator, so I went completely opposite direction than normally I would do, and I put the radiator on the roof. If it hasn't been done before, I call it bullshit. It has been done before, maybe not on the vans, maybe on the trains, but has been done before.
Or a bus.
Oh, buses. Yeah, city buses use it as well, and it works. Now, I was very skeptic about this solution, but it really works great. Honestly, it's fabulous. If I knew it before, I would straight away. Maybe it's not beautiful, it's ugly, I know, I don't like it, but it works. Because it's a race car, right? This is actually not this, so no one is gonna steal it. Well, it's not. Oh, gearbox setup. The gearbox setup, because we have the gearbox we use is controlled electronically. Once your engine is completely mechanical, doesn't have any ECU, which doesn't communicate with the TCU, which is the computer that controls the gearbox, how are you going to control it? We had to go with the aftermarket. Give me the camera, I'll show them. We had to go for the aftermarket controller, which is this one here. Let me turn the ignition on. That's the one. This is the OLED controller. It's quite expensive, but it's very good, and I can control with this my Dodge switches, which I've done ages ago, like lots of my stuff, and supposed to make it better tomorrow, and it's been like this for 6 months now, and I'm probably gonna leave it like this, I have to be honest with you. However, this is my downshift and upshift. You can have the gearbox completely auto or completely manual, and you just change the gears from here. You can do the lever, you can do whatever. I mean, this works for me anyway. So, and this is my emergency engine stop, because I've done something stupid in the past. I've turned the engine on and the pump was on the maximum, and the engine revved up to 7,500 RPMs, which I was worried I was gonna break it. It didn't broke for some reason.
As in one of your videos, wasn't that? Or not?
Yeah, I think it was on one of my videos, and I was like, you know what? You pull this, everything stops. So just safety. Right, what's next?
Well, your wheels. Well, you've got about like a feed, your wheel setup on there.
So what we got here is a 10J, so 10-inch wide rims, 15-inch diameter. I've built the bead locks. Not that you need something like this on the overland vehicle, because you never lower the pressure below 1.5 bar, but it's something good to have. I have not a single weight on them. I did not balance them at all. and they not vibrate. I would say that when I was in Mexico, I've done 110 miles an hour, just over 110. There's no vibrations. Now I've done it once. I know it's stupid, but I had to try it. The car starts to float a little bit because obviously the tires expand, because I think they're rated to 85 or 90. So that's what I'm saying. That was a little bit stupid, I know, but I just wanted to see. And then yeah, you can hold the car with one finger. There's not a single vibration. So good tires. These are BF Goodrich MK2. I'm waiting for the MK3 to come over because I want to swap them for those ones. And these are 35 12.5 15s. However, these don't measure 35. They are 34s. Right.
You've had a lot of rebuilding to do at the front to get this to work, but
yes.
Could you have done it on a stock?
No, there was to build it on a standard chassis. There will be I think it would be difficult. I opted to maintain the from here to the rear section of the chassis completely standard, because they are extremely strong and rigid chassis. This is not the thing I like of these vans. But the front section I had to cut it off completely and redesign it and rebuild it from scratch. I built it stronger but more narrower to obviously to accommodate the big tires to turn in and have a full turning cycle. Otherwise the chassis on the front of them is a little bit too wide and will stay exactly where the diff is, so the vehicle will have to have more lift and probably don't have as much space for the tires to turn, but mostly because I will have to lift it. And every time I build Jeeps and everything for off-road use, I not to tend to put too much lift, as less as possible. Keep it as low as possible. It's very stable, as you've seen today. Even this is a van, you're going pretty much this way and it's like full safety.
And as you can see in here, you've got your trailer on the back. How's that? How do you get that tow that round without it like popping off or what have you?
That's very simple. Let's go from
talk
this
about your hitch.
Because there's now the hitch, because you asked me the hitch, not the winch. The hitch. Now a lot of people buying these extremely complicated and expensive hitches, mainly from Australia, because in Australia is very popular to have big cars and patrols and Land Cruisers with the big trailers, and they swing all the way around like 360 degrees, because normal ball jointed, whatever you want to call it, hitch, the standard one, it will break after a certain degree of swing, as you gotta call it.
Yeah, twist.
Or twist, it will break. Obviously here will break. What I tend to do, military hitch, that's how you do it. I think these are rated to 15 ton, so it's kind of oversized. It is big, but this turns, like it swivels all around, so no problems. This can go all around like pretty much 180 degrees, so you have no limitations on this.
Okay, next question we got fuel tank. Have you got a stock fuel tank on this, or?
No, the fuel tank. This is another thing that a Trafic is a problematic to build a four-wheel drive transmission, because the fuel tank is as wide as the body. It takes the whole floor, so obviously you have to have your prop shaft going in between, so the standard fuel tank would just not do. My fuel tank there, you see this one here, and the other side, you see the exhaust is going to be between the exhaust and the prop shaft. It's going to be another one exactly like this one, and then if you see it from here, it is actually completely flat with the seals. So once we have the other fuel tank, I'm gonna put a flat floor aluminium or Dura aluminium, whatever you call it, T6 aluminium there in completely flat floor. So it's gonna protect everything, the fuel pumps, the swivel pod, the tank, and everything. So it's gonna be about, no, not about, precisely 110 liters. So if you remove 5 liters each tank for the reserve, you're gonna have 100 liters of usable fuel, which is gonna give me about between 500 and 600 miles range.
Okay, and since we've got the door open, the interior and your seats and what have you.
Interiors are lovely. What else do you want to know? Okay, all right. Put the lights on. So okay, so the seats are from the Mazda Bongo. I think they are from Mazda. Someone says Mazda. I can't remember where.
Bongo friendly.
They're good. I put them on actually on the rails, so they can actually slide forward. I can't because of my bags, and actually they slide on the top of this, but I'm not gonna remove that one now. What happens, you can put this down this way, okay, and have them as a table. Oh, where my Yoda goes. Have them as a table. You can slide them forward and put this down this way, sorry, but also let me try to move it forward a little. You can put them completely down so it's completely flat, and then, you know what, let me show you this way. Now, move this away. This section actually slides forward and it goes up to here. So it transforms in a completely flat surface and is 2 meters by 1.70 meters width. So it gives me a platform for a full size, actually slightly bigger than the king size bed. And we have memory foam mattress there, which you can see there's like 2 sets of them. Each one of them is folded in 3 pieces, but they connected, so you don't have like 6 different pieces. They fly around. They connected. So once you fold everything down, king size bed, memory foam, very comfortable. Even nice like last night when it's cold and you have your working heater, which I didn't have.
And that brings us on to the temperature out here and the working or not working heater. Oh
yeah, my not working heater is a very good setup when it works.
Yeah, when it works, yeah.
All right, for that one we're gonna open the rear door. Let me put the lights down. Let's open the rear door, which is this is another one. We got the jerry can over here, extra fuel because the fuel tank is small for now, plus again you want to carry with you anyway, plus if you don't, it looks cool. I like it, so why not? Spare tire here because obviously there's no space underneath. I don't want to put it on the roof because that's a space you want to use. Plus,
and it's hard enough getting something like that onto the back of here, let alone on and off the top.
So plus again, it's any weight on the roof, you guys gonna swing even more in the corners. So trying to make it stable. That's why this one is low down, not up there. So let's open this one. Oh, that's leaves from the forest from today. So if we open this one fully, because we can. So my heater is I have the electronic, which is a version of Webasto, is actually in this section here. What you see strange on this, okay, I've kind of fucked up because my bed don't supposed to be here, it's supposed to be slightly higher, and I drilled the hole in this section for this pipe, which essentially because I changed the plans, it was hitting the bed, so I had to just rip it off. Quick job, which is going to be repaired tomorrow or maybe next 10 years. It looks ugly, but it works. What you see here, this is an AGR cooler radiator, and what I do from my heater, which blows the hot air from here, I run the water pipes through this AGR cooler. Okay, so this pipe goes to the bottom. From the top, another pipe goes to here. Now my heater exhaust pipe goes through this radiator, warms the water inside. Now that water once gets hot through obviously thermodynamics laws. Did I say thermodynamics laws?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
No.
Alright. However,
It'll be alright.
hot water travels up. So naturally, when that water heats up, goes up, mixes with the colder water, which essentially is going to warm up, and goes down. You actually have this water just circulating naturally with no pumps or anything. And this one here is a 15-liter one. This actually is the Webasto, is a night heater, Chinese night heater fuel tank, but it actually works on the door here. I know it's ugly, but it's very functional. 15 liters. It takes about 10-15 minutes to warm up to really nice and warm water. If you wait 20 minutes, the shower is hot. I mean hot. So what we do, we tend to open this door. We have like a toilet portable loo, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Tents, you know, these pop-up tents. And what I do, I take the pipe from here to inside the tent, so warms the tent out from inside. Wait 30 minutes for the water to nearly boil, and have my sauna. It's very nice shower. However, 15 liters of water, it lasts you a good 4 or 5 people. You can do it. Unless you say to your wife or to your kid that we have plenty of water, you don't have to save it, and this will be barely enough for one kid. So you got to be careful how you set it up. But yes, this is my hot shower, heated hot shower setup. Everything fits inside the door, so I'm very proud of this, because you know it's almost nice and clean. This is how you turn it on, and there you go. It's a bit noisy, but it's fine. Already leaks because it's Chinesium. Put it back here. Then you got the lights here, because obviously is yeah, that's called tuning. Do you know that?
Tuning?
That's, yeah, tuning, shower tuning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it make it go faster?
No, but it makes you wash faster, because when you're at night and you're inside your tent and you have lights from the bottom, you can actually see through. The people can see from the outside, so you tend to do it quicker. So yeah, it kind of makes sense. So yeah, this is it. Also, we bring the camera over here. I want to show you something. Usually people put like plywood panels on the side of the walls, insulate them inside and the panels in, but that way you lose probably that much each side of the van of the space. We haven't done it. We just put the insulation, like a bubble insulation on the walls, and then carpet straight onto it. We find out insulating is good enough, and we have way more space. This
Like that bubble stuff one?
Yes, exactly like this one, because on this side we didn't finish. This is supposed to be like a panel for my daughter to draw drawings like she did on the door. Show on the door how artistic she was. That was a few years ago, because if she sees that she's like, oh, I can draw better, but that was a few years ago. And yeah, I left it there. This is my wife. Just to say, she had nothing to do with this drawing. This is my daughter. She signed it by Thomas and Paula, because I gave her an idea and she drew it. My missus, she was just jealous she wasn't here, so she put that
left
on.
out.
So I was a bit cheeky, but it is.
She didn't get to draw in your van?
Yes. On the bottom here you see the mess, but again this is work in progress. Loads of the stuff is a mess.
So are you planning to put some drawers in, or?
I was planning not to, because drawers will limit me, will give me less available space for my stuff, and we carry a lot of stuff, even a bit too much. So at the beginning I prefer to have more space available for my stuff, but as you see yesterday, because we got so much stuff, try to reach some, try to find something is a mess. You have to take everything out, you don't remember what it is. So I think that was a bad decision. I think I would prefer to opt for less space but more organized. So I think I'm gonna do 2 or 3 drawers. You bring them out, you got your stuff, bring them back in, and it's organized. Because especially, for example, if it's bad weather, it's raining, you want to get your stuff quick out, set your stuff up, and close the door, off you go. Because imagine now it's raining down and I have to be here for 10 minutes looking for the stuff, cursing and screaming. It's like, oh, I got enough of this, I want to go home. You know, you're turning a kid when stuff doesn't go your way. So this is definitely not a good decision. We have to put the drawers in, even if I have less space available. One thing I'm extremely proud of is the bed, because this slides and it's twice this size. Once you put this on, it's extremely big, it's mega comfortable. And when the heater works, you just set your temp up like in your home. It's just beautiful inside. You can sit on the top here because there's plenty of space. You have plenty of lighting, which I got the power from the solar panels. I think I have 150 watt solar on the top.
Yeah,
with this custom, very ugly but very useful roof rack. I didn't both one because all of them you can buy. They sell them for builders, and they're huge. They stick out from the roof that much, and they're big. I wanted something low profile and very strong. This is made in steel. And let me pass me the camera so that there you go. I have to finish all this surface here. I want to put like a very strong mesh so you can actually walk on the roof and, you know, put something there or have a seat or lie down. That's my solar panel, and well, pretty much bent cover for the radiator, which obviously the branches, obviously we damaged it today. It's good like I have a spare radiator in the workshop. So all right, so what else?
Well, that's the end of the questions I've got on here. Is there any reason that you use steel for the roof rack? That's what I was going to say. Not Ali or
no, there's a very solid reason. And the reason for that, because I've done the roof rack very impulsively, and it was on Sunday. I had some still left. But yes, this one is coming off, and I'm building one with the 75/80 aluminium one.
Okay.
Lighter one, because although this looks small, it actually weighs quite a lot, and you can feel it when you drive in the corners. It's a bit too much weight on the top.
Anything you would do different if you did it again?
Yes. I will not spend £500 on the floor insulating. That was wasting of time and wasting of money, which we actually done it together.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yes, I will not do it. I will just use something just smaller. I just oversized the floor. It was not need for that. I'll probably do a very, very similar, just obviously stuff like this, you know, you plan it ahead a bit more. Now this was like work like a prototype, so although everything works great now, if I back in time and build it again, I will do it twice as fast and twice as efficient. So I know this engine will go in, so I will build the engine bay for this engine. So maybe the radiator will still fit on the front, for example. It will be clean on the top, won't be as ugly as it is now. Not sure if it will work as good as now, but that side maybe I would do it differently. Maybe radiator on the front. But again, that's a big question, because I'm extremely happy the way it works, but I'm extremely unhappy the way it looks. So I don't know, you know. Another thing which I would do, which I have to do it still, fuel tank for the heater is here. This is the again, my own stuff. If this was done for the customer, something like this is not acceptable, because it's my advantage. Just plug it in, make it work, because we're going out for the weekend. I got no time, and I fix it tomorrow. It's been 2 years. So yeah.
I got a good question. What about your door, your side door? Why have you got it going upwards, and how do you get such a big heavy door to stay up?
Okay, so technical stuff. Hinges. I use the hinges from the front door of a Defender 110. This thing is here. Struts.
Yeah, pneumatic strut.
Like I don't know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what they call it. These are actually original from the Renault Trafic with the version of with the tailgate on the back. So they have a tailgate which is actually bigger than this door, and they support that one. So this is actually very strong holding up. So we had one of these. If one of these breaks, this will still go up. So you have twice the strength to cook this up that we need. So just in case.
Why did you do it in the first place though?
Because it looked cool. I thought this will be a nice thing to do. It's a nice touch. That's a lie. The truth is, big tires on the back. When you have a sliding door, the sliding side door, it will open by that much before hitting the tire that sticks out the body. So there was either making something fancy, trying to get the door going out massively first, and then on the angles here, or just put the hinges on the roof and make it this way. And because I was at the end of the build, I really wanted to test the van. You know what, I'm going for the simplest solution. But at the end of the story, the simplest solution ended up to be probably the best solution, because it is good once we out here camping, because when we going shopping, it's not really that great, because you usually don't have that much space on the side of your van to open the door. And so yes, but again, this is a camper van, so we use it for camping. And for camping, this is brilliant, because again, it gives you shelter. You have lights here.
I was going to say, we've been using it as a shelter.
Yeah, we have used it yesterday, exactly, and it works perfectly fine. And it's just great. I think it's good. So that's why of this door. It was kind of like trying to repair an issue, or just a simple solution, and it turns out to be very good.
And what about plans for the future? I mean, I think that's like a good ending sort of question, like plans for the future, or anything that you've got
plans for the future.
There's a possibility of what you fancy trying something like this.
No, plans for the future, the nearest future, is to fix our axe, which we broken yesterday. It's supposed to be a good one. Jokes apart, I don't know. I think I'm gonna revive the Concept Overland, which is Trafic Motorsport, is the same as Concept Overland, but before I had the health issues, I wanted, actually straight after, I wanted to push more into overland vehicles, because I used to build race cars, including off-road race cars. I used to compete in off-road as well. So all the experience I wanted to put into something more family oriented, so which is expeditions or overlanding, whatever you want to call it. It is from simple weekend going camping to travel around the world. This will be able to travel around the world. This is why the engine setup completely mechanical. It will forgive you any type of bad fuel. We have a water separator from the diesel. I mean, this can actually go around the world if you want to. It's oversized, technically speaking. But what we do, actually, we're doing some green laning and camping on the weekends, and as far we can get is Scotland, maybe for a week or two. So everything went fairly well. However, a branch catches that. Well, actually, it wasn't branch, it was that swing.
Yeah, swing.
The oars of that swing, that piece of branch or whatever, piece of log, whatever you want to call it, goes inside there and actually it goes. Actually, let me show you better. There you go, from here. It actually went between this and my radiator. The odds of that would be like 1 to 1,000 instead of just swinging around, and it actually did. So what happened? It bent this. This is strong enough. Obviously, now we've repaired it quickly in the middle of the woods, and it actually ripped this side of the radiator from the mount, and it bent the radiator. You can see there's a gap here. This should supposed to be flat. This is actually intentional. I pulled it down as strong as I could with 2 big zip tires, and it's fine, to be honest now. But what I didn't notice is that it ripped 2 of the cables. So I've noticed my engine temp was going higher and higher and higher, and eventually nearly overheated. So we just made it in time to come back and have to find out where these cables are, because I've built it like, well, I don't know, a month or 2 months ago, this radiator. I already don't remember how I built the wires exactly. So fucking, I probably have to take this off and repair these wires and go forward. Now we wanted to go inside once again.
Yeah.
If you have a time to do more footage and to have fun, because it was pretty funny. This is not really ideal place to test the van, because the height of this thing is a little bit too much for closed off-road, because a lot of branches here and it's closed. Not many people actually use this for the off-road. It's pretty wide. You see it's like a lot of vegetations on the floor.
Yeah.
It's like for a long time no one actually used it. So there's a lot of branches growing from each side, and there was a point when I was there was a tree on this side and tree on this side, and the roof was like that much from each side. When you're in like twisting on
when we came up the top, we came near the beginning when we came up the top, and I'm following you.
Yes, that one.
And
that's
sort of like snaky.
Yeah. There's small branches, but also there's like
really
pretty good branches there. And that was very close. That was very close. I think
even with the trailer.
I think the van did pretty well. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty well. It is not very muddy over there, but it's not dry. It's not dry at all. It was raining until last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a camper van. This is four-wheel drive camper van. Stuff we've done now, you will never have to do it. I mean, you don't have roads like this we've done now to reach the campsite and to go to a nice site to camp.
Yeah, as I said, never do it in
exactly
like T4 or T5.
Exactly, but you can. So I think next time we're gonna come over here and we're gonna camp in the middle of the woods. Again, I got a winch on the camper van. Just a camper van. Just a van. It's just a Trafic. There's a winch there. It's a proper off-road. It doesn't have a winch. Why you don't have a winch? Let me answer for you. Because he doesn't need a winch. Is it?
You beat me to it.
So yeah, let's put it this way. Now, all right. Now we have to repair this radiator, but I have to wait till it cools down because it's pretty hot. It went up to like 94 degrees, which is like first time this radiator's in this temp. And then I think Andrew's gonna make a cup of coffee or tea. Is that correct? Are you on the video? See what you're saying?
Yes,
he's doing that.